Hey yo, the topic of this video is going to be about dreams. The topic of this video is going to be about dreams. Okay, so the topic of this video is going to be about dreams. You know, dreams as human beings, like, this is also something that's very unique and interesting about us. The fact that we can have dreams, like, so. Okay, first of all, what is a dream? How would you define like dreams and stuff? A dream's like basically like when you're about to, like, your brain needs rest and stuff, and you like go into your bed and stuff, and you kind of, and then you like something like that. Dreams and stuff like that. This is like so interesting, right? That us human beings, that we can have like dreams and stuff. We can have dreams and stuff. Basically, okay, so what is like a dream? How would you define like the word dream? Dreams basically like when you're. This dream is like to put it into my own words. The word dream is basically like when we like kind of like go unconscious and our brain controls. Actually, it's kind of dumb. It's very hard to properly define the word dream. It's like basically like when you when you're like when you let your body like completely like stay still and stuff, and then you like kind of just relax onto a bed or something similar and stuff, and then you just your mind kind of like your subconscious starts to take control, and you kind of like go into like you start to like enter into like some type of different world in your head and stuff, and your body's just like kind of paralyzed and you can't do anything, and this is kind of, it's like a word, it's very hard to properly define the word dream. Basically it's like when you're resting and stuff, and your body is paralyzed and you can't move and stuff, and your brain is like your imagination is taking control basically, and so and you're seeing like all these different things inside of your head, and you're like watching a movie that's inside of your head and stuff, and your body's paralyzed. That's basically like dreams. That's what a dream is like when you're is basically, although that would be probably sleeping. I'm probably defining the word sleeping, not even dreams. Dreams is basically like your imagination. It's like it's like just your imagination that's inside your head making movies for you and stuff. It's very hard to properly define the word dream. I'm actually talking about sleeping, the process of sleeping. I'm not even talking about the dreams themselves. The actual word dream, I'm not even defining it properly. Basically, like when you're dream, it's like when you go to sleep and stuff, and then your mind it plays a movie for you, which is kind of interesting. Like when you're sleeping, like we all notice, right, that you start to like, you feel almost as if like you experience like a different life inside of your head. It's so weird. Your physical body is paralyzed and stuff. You're not moving about in real life, but you're in your head. You're living like this other type of life. It's so interesting. Dreams. I'm actually, before I was like kind of like defining like sleeping. I was like describing the process of sleeping, but dreams is kind of like, it's sort of similar. Obviously, sleeping stuff like that. In order to like to have dreams, you have to like fall asleep and stuff like that. Maybe I'm kind of like mixing my words up and stuff. I don't know. Dreams is like so hard to properly define, like this word. Basically, it's like when your body is paralyzed, and stuff, and your body is paralyzed, and your brain starts to put on a show for you. That's what a dream is. That's how I would define it. It's like when your brain starts to use, your imagination starts to take over your senses, and you start to see like this movie inside of your head. That's how I would define the word dream. It's very difficult to properly define this type of word, dream. Dreams, like we all have dreams and stuff. We all go to sleep, and then we have like these types of movies that play inside of our heads and stuff. It's almost as if when you go to sleep and stuff, your brain it's so weird. It's almost like when you go to sleep and stuff like that. When you go to sleep, your brain puts on like a movie for you and stuff. Your brain puts on a movie for you and stuff like that. Your brain puts on a movie for you and stuff. It's so weird. Your brain puts on like a movie, like when you go to sleep and stuff like that. You have like dreams and stuff. It's so bizarre. Like it's hard to like properly understand like the exact mechanism like that allows for dreams to happen and stuff. It's very hard to like explain it. I don't know the exact mechanism that like how your brains allow dreams to happen. It's so weird. I don't believe that there's any type of like legit like scientific explanation for why dreams happen. Legit scientific explanation. Obviously, a lot of scientists and stuff, they'll tell you that a lot of scientists, they'll tell you and stuff like that. They'll tell you like they'll tell you that like dreams is basically just your brain needs to like your brain basically needs to like repair itself. Basically your brain needs to like kind of like the reason we have dreams is because our brains, they need to like stimulate themselves while we're sleeping, something similar to that and stuff. I don't know, it's kind of like what legit explanation is there for sleeping and dreams? I don't know. In my opinion, in terms of like evolution and stuff, like sleeping is like so counterintuitive to the theory of evolution. Like, because if an organism, if a creature is like paralyzed on the ground and is like fast asleep, like that organism's gonna just get killed. That creature or animal, whatever, is just gonna get picked off so easily. Wouldn't it have been more advantageous for creatures for us to like develop like some other type of mechanism where we don't need to sleep? The fact that we do need to sleep, that's so weird. Because it would, like, especially in like prehistoric times, that would guarantee death. Like if you were like for 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, you were just like paralyzed on the ground, like you're not moving and stuff, you're stuck, you're on the ground paralyzed, you're not even like, you can't even like sense things properly, your sensory organs aren't working and stuff, you're just paralyzed. Basically that's what sleep is. It's like when our bodies, we just become paralyzed and we're like unconscious and like we're like inside of our heads, like our consciousness, like we were looking into our imagination. It's so weird. Sleeping, in the process of sleeping in dreams is, and like that's why I'm having like a lot of problems like properly talking about this topics. It's so hard to properly define like dreams, like what is dreaming, what does it mean to dream. And so it's basically like when you go to sleep, your body starts to get paralyzed, and then your brain puts on like your subconscious, whatever. It's like your imagination takes control, and you start to like, your brain starts to like play a movie for you. And so it's so weird, like the whole process of sleeping in dreams. It's so bizarre to me, like, because in terms of like the theory of evolution, like dream, the fact that we have to go to sleep and then we start dreaming, that's so counterintuitive to the theory of evolution. Because if an animal, a creature is like paralyzed on the ground, that creature, that organism, that animal's gonna like, it's probably gonna get mauled to death. I don't know. It's so weird to me. I don't know. The fact that we need to like dream and stuff. I don't know. It's so weird to me. I don't know. The fact that we need to like go to sleep and like we have dreams. It's so weird. Because look at like the theory of evolution and stuff like that. Basically, the theory of evolution, survival of the fittest. If an organism, a creature, an animal is like paralyzed on the ground, fast asleep, having dreams, like that creature, that organism's gonna get picked off so easily. Another type of animal that doesn't need to sleep is gonna like dominate it. So it's so weird to me, like the fact that all animals, all mammals especially, like we require sleep. I know some animals don't really require sleep, they can like function like without sleep. Some very rare animal species can do that, but a lot of animals require sleep. It's so bizarre to me, because in terms of like the theory of evolution, like wouldn't being fast asleep, wouldn't like basically like when you go to sleep, you're paralyzed and you're not engaging with the world and stuff, and you're stuck, your subconscious isn't like you're paralyzed and stuff like that. You're not engaging with the world. It's so bizarre. That's why I don't understand like the process of in terms of like the theory of evolution, like why do we like require sleep and stuff? Why would we require sleep and stuff like that? The theory of because if you look at like the theory of evolution and stuff, the theory of evolution basically wouldn't it mean that we don't, like us human beings and other animals, we wouldn't need to sleep? Because if like the animals that were like sleeping paralyzed for 10 hours a day, they would have just got picked off by other types of animals and creatures that weren't sleeping at all. It's so weird to me. It's so weird to me, the fact that like a lot of animals and us human beings, that we need to like sleep and stuff like that. We require sleep and stuff like that. It's so bizarre to me. I don't know. The fact that we require sleep, the fact that we need to sleep, like it's so weird. Because if you look at the theory of evolution, like the fact is us human beings, like other like the types of animals that fell asleep, that were fast asleep, they would have easily have been picked off by other types of animals and creatures that didn't require sleep. So that's always like sleeping is like such a paradox. Even a lot of scientists, they can't properly explain to you like the mechanism of like sleeping, the why we actually need to sleep and stuff like that. It's kind of so bizarre. Even like scientists, they can't properly like describe to you like the exact mechanism that like enables us human beings and other animals to sleep, like why we require sleep specifically, because it's so bizarre to me. Like, I was looking at it from the perspective of like the theory of evolution. It's like, if you think about it, animals and creatures and organisms that fell asleep, they would have just got picked off so easily. Think about it, wouldn't like if an animal or a creature or an organism like was collapsed onto the ground, completely paralyzed for like 10 hours, wasn't engaging with the world, wouldn't that animal in like some type of predator pick it off so quickly? I don't understand like why, like in terms of evolution, like why a lot of animal species have evolved like the requirements to sleep. It's so bizarre to me. I don't know. I can't even rationalize it in terms of, again, evolution. An animal species, like if an animal or a creature or an organism like is completely collapsed onto the ground and paralyzed and isn't engaging with the world, it's like completely like stuck on the ground, completely paralyzed, isn't engaging with the world for like 10 hours a day, wouldn't that animal get picked off? Wouldn't like a predator come and pick the animal off? That's why, in my opinion, this is like, it is kind of like in terms of like the theory of evolution, the fact that a lot of animals and us human beings, like we require sleep, that's so paradoxical. That is so paradoxical to the theory of evolution, to like, especially like these types of concepts of natural selection and survival of the fittest. Because if an animal is like completely paralyzed, stuck on the ground, if an animal, any type of animal species, creature, is paralyzed, stuck on the ground, isn't engaging with the world, is completely immobilized, isn't it like logical that a predator would quickly pick off this type of animal species, and this animal species would simply just get extinct? It's so paradoxical to me, like this type of because it's this fact, right, that us human beings and other animal species, we require a tremendous amount of sleep. That's so paradoxical to me. We require sleep, but for some reason, like our ancestors, like they weren't getting picked off by predators and killed off when they were sleeping on the floor for 8 hours, 10 hours, completely immobilized, paralyzed for 10 hours. That's so ridiculous to me. I don't get it. I don't understand, like, in terms of like the theory of evolution, like why would us human beings and other animal species, why would we evolve this type of mechanism to sleep, and why would we require sleep and all of this type of stuff? The theory of evolution, it would basically mean that like us human beings, we would not like we would not. It's so weird to me. I don't understand the fact that like why we need to like sleep and stuff like that. Why we require sleep and all that type of stuff. It's so bizarre to me. Because again, in terms of like the theory of evolution, wouldn't it be logical that if like an animal species, if it required sleep and it was like on the floor, collapsed on the floor and completely paralyzed, immobilized, wouldn't that type of animal species get extinct, get picked off by predators? I don't understand it. Like, wouldn't the animal species that don't require sleep, wouldn't they start to dominate the ecosystem, because they can operate 24/7, they don't require sleep, and they can just, the animals that do require sleep, they're going to be immobilized for like 10 hours and they're going to get picked off and killed. I don't understand, like, in terms of like the theory of evolution, the fact that we human beings, we go to sleep and we have dreams, is so bizarre. Obviously I'm talking about sleeping, but dreams is kind of related. Dreams are like so interesting. Again, how would you like define the word dream? Before I was like, again, talking about like the process of sleeping. Let me like focus on like dreams now. Dreams, like when you know, again, when you go to sleep and then what happens, your body gets paralyzed and stuff. Your body gets paralyzed and your brain starts to put on a show for you. That's like what a dream is. When you're sleeping and your body is paralyzed, your brain starts to put on a show. It's almost like your imagination starts to take over your sensory organs and stuff. Instead of like sensing the physical world around you, when you go to sleep, your consciousness, your brain, it almost looks inside of itself. Instead of sensing the world around you, you start to like it's almost like you're sensing like your imagination, like your consciousness inside of your head. You're looking into your own head when you go to sleep, and you're like, your brain's like stimulating your mind by like playing like some type of show and footage. It's so weird. Dreams. It's so hard to properly define like what dreaming is, what dreams mean. So many scientists, even they can't really properly explain to you like why we have dreams, like us human beings and other animal species, why we have dreams. A lot of scientists, they'll try and rationalize it. They'll say that the brain needs to stimulate itself while you're sleeping, so you don't lose like your cognitive ability, something similar to that. I don't know. In my opinion, it's so weird to me, the fact that we as human beings and other types of animal species, we go to sleep and we have dreams. What is a dream again? Instead of you sensing your physical surroundings, your consciousness, you start to your brain, it looks inside of itself and you start to sense your own imagination. It's so weird. It's like you transition from like this real life world, and then your brain puts on like you go into like the virtual world inside of your head. That's like what a dream is. Like it's like a virtual world. It's like a video game that your brain puts on for you and stuff. When you go to sleep, when your body's paralyzed, your brain puts on like it creates like a virtual world for you to mess around in. It's so weird. And obviously lucid dreaming, some people, they dream like in such a way that they're in full control. It's like they're almost playing a game inside of their own heads. It's very bizarre to me. I don't know. The whole process of dreaming and stuff like that, it's so bizarre to me. I don't know. And again, scientists, they can't properly like explain to you like the exact mechanism for like why we sleep and why we have dreams and all that type of stuff. Again, in terms of like the theory of evolution, like think about it. Dreams, wouldn't it be so like intuitive, counterproductive for like an animal species to dream, to go to sleep for 10 hours and start to have dreams, all this type of stuff. Wouldn't it be like in terms of like survival of the fittest, wouldn't like these types of animal species that require sleep and dreams, wouldn't they just get picked off by like animal species that don't require sleep, these predators that operate 24/7, and they quickly kill off like all these types of animals that require sleep, that are immobilized for 10 hours. That's why I don't understand in terms of like survival of the fittest, natural selection. I just don't understand like in terms of evolution, like how like most animal species, why did most animal species evolve the need to like sleep and to have dreams and all this type of stuff? Is so bizarre. Even as human beings, it's so bizarre to me. It's such an anomaly in terms of like the theory of evolution, because in terms of like the theory of evolution, like animal species, like if an animal species is on the ground completely immobilized and collapsed, shit, cat man fucking scared me, man. If an animal species is completely on the ground, completely collapsed, immobilized, wouldn't that animal species like just get picked off by predators? I don't understand it. I don't understand how our ancestors survived like while they were sleeping. I don't understand it. Maybe because they were like in tribes and stuff, and fair enough. And then like some community members, they can like they can fight off predators or something. I don't know. It's just so bizarre to me. I don't know how us human beings, why exactly we like require sleep and dreams and stuff. It's so weird to me, because animals, there are like a ton. Like a lot of animals require sleep and dreams. It's so weird to me. Why? Because like again, in terms of like evolution, like if you're like on the floor, collapsed, immobilized, a predator's just gonna come and pick you off. I don't understand it. It's the fact that we require sleep and dreams, that's so like weird to me. It's so paradoxical to the theory of evolution. The fact that we, us human beings and other types of animal species, we require sleep and then we have dreams. Again, but I keep talking about sleeping and stuff, and like the theory of evolution is how it's like sort of paradoxical, because again, like if an animal species is like completely immobilized for 10 hours a day on the ground, wouldn't that animal species just get picked off by predators? I don't understand how like in terms of evolution, how like the animals that like needed sleep and stuff required how they didn't just die off and get picked off by predators. I don't understand that. I don't know, it's kind of like a paradox to me. Again, scientists, they can't really even explain to you like the exact mechanism for like why we have dreams, why sleep is important. Maybe sleeping, they could explain like sleep because like your brain needs to like flush itself out and needs to like filter itself and like repair itself. So fair enough, then that's why you require sleep. But dreams is kind of weird. Why do we have dreams? It's like your brain like stimulates itself, your mind stimulates itself during like when you're like fast asleep and stuff, and that's why you have dreams. It's so weird. It's so weird to me, like why we require like sleep is so like, and why we have dreams is so bizarre. It's so weird. It's so weird to me, like why we require sleep, why we have dreams and all that type of stuff. The scientists, they can't explain to you like the exact mechanism for why we require sleep and why we have dreams and all that type of stuff. Is so bizarre to me. The fact that we need like sleeping, we have dreams. Again, the theory of evolution is kind of like very interesting in this regard, because again, any type of animal species that like on the floor for 10 hours collapsed, immobilized, wouldn't that type of animal species just go extinct? I don't understand it. How like most animal species and us human beings, like why we like evolved like this type of mechanism for like that we require like sleep and we have to have dreams and all that type of stuff. It's so weird to me. I don't know, it's kind of an anomaly, but dreams are so interesting. They're so magical. Dreams, like when you're little, like dreams, what is dreaming? You're in this like real physical world, right? And then you go to sleep, and then you get put in your brain, like puts you into like this other type of world that's inside your head, and you have like this virtual world that's inside your head. It's so bizarre and magical. Like you're in this, like when you're awake, you're in like this physical, real world, and then when you go to sleep, your brain creates like a virtual world, and you get into that virtual world, and you start to experience the virtual world. It's so weird. And dreams, man, dreams are so weird. There's lucid. There's so many different ways to describe dreaming and stuff. It's so like magical. The fact that us human beings and other types of animal species and creatures, we all go to sleep and stuff, and we have like these like we experience this type of virtual world our brain makes for us and stuff. It's so weird. And sometimes like it's so interesting, right? That the virtual world inside your head, like the dreams and stuff, it almost like feels like this. Sometimes it does feel like that you know, like when you go to sleep and you enter, your brain creates the virtual world for you and stuff, and you enter that virtual world. It does feel like it's all like almost like real. Doesn't it feel like real? You know, like sometimes when you're asleep, when you're sleeping and stuff, and you're dreaming and stuff, doesn't it? It almost sometimes dreams, like dreaming and stuff, it almost sometimes feels like the dream is actually real. Sometimes it's so bizarre. And the fact that us human beings, we go to sleep and stuff, and we have like dreams and stuff, and our brains create this virtual world for us and stuff, and it's so bizarre. And very interesting to me. I don't know. Scientists, they can't properly explain to you like the mechanism for why like why us human beings, like why we have like dreams and why we go to sleep and all that type of stuff. It's kind of like, obviously, like, again, in terms of like the theory of evolution, it's so bizarre to me, like, because in terms of like the theory of evolution, like if an animal species is like completely like immobilized, collapsed on the ground for like 10 hours a day, wouldn't that animal species and creature just get picked off by predators? I don't understand it. I don't understand like how, like, us human beings like other animal species, like how like we develop like this need to go to sleep at night, and to like this need to like go to sleep at night. It's so weird to me. I don't understand like how us human beings and other types of animal species like how us human beings and other types of animal species, like how and why we like evolved like these types of requirements for sleep and dreaming and all that type of stuff is so bizarre to me. I don't understand it, quite honestly. So quite frankly, it's so bizarre to me, like how and why like us human beings and other types of animal species, like we evolved like these types of requirements for sleeping and dreaming. I just don't understand it, because in terms of like the theory of evolution, like wouldn't like the types of animal species that like they go to sleep and they're immobilized and collapsed on the ground, wouldn't these types of animal species just like get picked off by predators? I just don't understand like how and why like us human beings and other types of animal species, like we evolved like these types of requirements for sleeping and dreaming and stuff. It's so bizarre to me. In terms of like the theory of evolution, it's like such a paradox, the fact that us human beings and other types of animals, we require sleep to function properly, and like sleeping is like so important. It's so weird to me, because again, the theory of evolution, right? Animals that collapse to the ground and stay stuck in the ground for like 10 hours completely immobilized, wouldn't these types of animals like fucking get picked off by predators? I don't know. Sleeping and dreaming is so magical. It's so like anomaly. It's like such a big fat anomaly in regards to like the theory of evolution and stuff, and like natural selection and all that type of stuff. Is so weird. The fact that us human beings and other types of animal species, we require like sleep to function and to like stay in tip-top condition and all that type of stuff. It's so bizarre to me. So bizarre to me, man. Obviously there's like a lot again, scientists, they'll try and like explain to you like the mechanism for like why we sleep and like why and how we sleep, and like, oh, look, kitty cat, little kitty cat, for why we sleep and like what is the like why we require sleep and all that type of stuff. Scientists, they'll basically try and say that it's just to keep the brain healthy and whatever. I don't know. In my opinion, sleeping is so like weird in terms of like the theory of evolution. Wouldn't animals that are collapsed onto the ground, immobilized, not moving for like 10 hours a day, wouldn't they get picked off by predators? And dreams as well. Dreaming is so weird. Why would we evolve the need to like sleep and dream? Is so like, it's just a big fat mystery to me. But like the dreaming is like so magical. Like what is dreaming? Like your brain creates like a virtual world, puts on a show for you while you're like sleeping, like completely like what is sleeping? It's like when you rest yourself somewhere, and then you get paralyzed in your brain. Like that's what dreaming. That's what sleeping is like, when you rest yourself and you lie down somewhere, and then when dreaming is like when your brain like then creates like a virtual world, like some type of show for you while you're like, or your eyes are shut and your body isn't moving. That's so weird. And dreams are so magical. Sometimes like when you're dreaming, it almost feels like the dream is real. Almost feels like sometimes like when you're dreaming, the dream actually feels real, obviously, and then you wake up and you realize, oh yeah, it's just a dream. It's so weird. That happens to me quite a lot. I go to sleep and then I'm dreaming and stuff, and then I feel like sometimes I get so caught up in that dream, I almost feel like it's like real life and stuff, and then I wake up, oh, it's just a dream. Shit. Dreams, you know, like, this is gonna be like kind of like very weird. How do we know like we're not just dreaming right now? Like this real life, like how do you know you're not just dreaming? And it feels like this like real world is like real, like this real life thing is like real and stuff, like we're in like you know, like this real life, like real, like this world around us, like when we're like moving about, it feels like this is like real, but this could also be a dream. And like imagine like when we die, that's like when we wake up and stuff, and like then like all of like our life was just a dream and stuff. It's kind of, that'll be so funny. But you know, dreaming, yeah, imagine that'll be so funny, like, because you like how you go to sleep and then you're in a dream, and then and sometimes it feels like the dream is like so real, and then you wake up, it's like all fake. Imagine like our lives and stuff, like when we die, it's just we realize that all of our lives, everything we did in our life, it was just all like it was all just a dream. Like we were all just trapped in a dream, and then we woke up, and you know, that's what happens when you die. You like literally wake up and then, oh yeah, well, I was in a dream. dreams are so weird. The fact that our brains, like, we create like this like type of imaginary world. Our brains create like a virtual world, some type of show for us when our bodies are like completely paralyzed and stuck and not moving and stuff, and then our brains create like this imaginary world and it's a virtual world. Our brains put on a show for us. It's so weird. Dreams. Sometimes, like, yeah, I know a lot of you, like, especially me, like, when we go to sleep, sometimes it feels like the dream is so real. Like, when we have specific dreams, it's like, it's so real, and then we wake up, it's just a dream. I can imagine, like, our lives, like, when we die, we wake up, our entire life was just a dream, and then we wake up into some type of other, like, universe or, like, galaxy or whatever. We wake up as, like, an alien or some angel or something similar. I don't know, that'd be so weird. Dreams are quite magical, very much magical. Dreams are so magical. Yeah, dreams are very, very magical. Scientists, they haven't, like, again, they can only explain to you, like, sort of like some of the ins and outs of dreaming and stuff, like the fact that we require dreaming. We need to sleep and go to sleep and, like, and have dreams and, like, all that type of stuff, just so our brains stay healthy. I don't know. Some scientists, they can only tell you that much. They can't explain to you like exactly why, like, dreams, like, why we evolved like these types of requirements for dreaming and sleeping is kind of very bizarre. The fact that we need to sleep and stuff and, like, then we have dreams is so bizarre to me. I don't know. Again, in terms of, like, the theory of evolution and stuff like that, like, why would we evolve like these types of requirements for, like, sleeping and stuff is so weird. Wouldn't, like, any type of animal species, like, if they're, like, on the ground 10 hours on the ground, it's just, like, not moving, wouldn't, like, a predator pick these types of animal species off? I don't understand it. I don't understand, like, how we evolve, like, these types of mechanisms and requirements for sleeping and dreaming and all that type of stuff. Is kind of very weird to me, because, again, an animal species, if it's collapsed on the ground 10 hours not moving, like, a predator would pick that animal species off so quickly. In terms of, like, the theory of evolution and, like, natural selection and survival of the fittest, the animals that don't require sleep, wouldn't they just dominate, and the animals that do require sleep, wouldn't they get picked off? It's so bizarre to me that we evolve these types of requirements for sleeping and dreaming. It's so weird to me. It's hard to, like, explain it and rationalize it. But dreams, because the topic of this video is about dreams are so hard to explain. Again, you go to sleep, your body gets paralyzed, you're completely immobilized, you can't move physically, but your brain, like, creates this virtual world for you and stuff. Your brain puts on a show for you, and you have, like, you're in this like, virtual world now that your brain makes for you when you're, like, paralyzed, your eyes are shut, and you're, like, your consciousness, you're not sensing your physical environment anymore. You start to sense, like, your imagination and the insides of your consciousness. That's kind of very weird. That's what dreaming is, right? Instead of, like, you sensing your physical world around you, your brain now starts to sense, like, your imagination, your consciousness. It's kind of very weird. Dreaming, sleeping is so bizarre to me. It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre to me. The fact that we have like these types of requirements for sleeping and dreaming. Again, in terms of, like, the theory of evolution, like, wouldn't like an animal species that needs to sleep and that requires sleep and dreaming, well, wouldn't those types of animal species get picked off and go extinct by other types of animals that don't require sleeping and dreaming? So bizarre to me. It's hard to, like, explain exactly, like, why we, us human beings and other types of animals, like, why we exactly require sleep. It's so weird. It's so magical, the fact that we, as human beings and other types of animal species, require sleep and stuff and all that other type of stuff. Sleeping, like, that has to do with, like, sleeping and dreaming and all that. Why we require this? It's so bizarre. The cold environment, the cold air. Why we require sleeping and why we have to, like, go to sleep and then we start to have dreams. It's so bizarre. So bizarre. I don't know. Again, in terms of, like, theory of evolution, like, animals that, like, would need to sleep and then they would, like, stay stuck on the ground, completely immobilized, collapsed on the ground, not moving for, like, 10 hours a day. Wouldn't these types of animal species just get extinct and picked off by predators that don't need to sleep? It's so weird. I don't know. The whole process of sleeping and dreaming is so weird. It's such a big fat anomaly in terms of, like, the theory of evolution and natural selection and survival of the fittest. It's, like, so weird to me that we as human beings and other types of animal species, we evolve, like, these types of requirements for sleeping and dreaming. I don't understand it at all. Because wouldn't, like, these types of, like, wouldn't, like, most, like, the types of animal species that, like, need to sleep and then have to dream, wouldn't these types of animal species, like, go extinct? It's so bizarre to me. I don't know. Wouldn't, like, predators pick these types of animals off, make them go extinct? It's so weird to me. I don't know. But you know, like dreams. The topic of this video is dreams, dreaming. Dreams are so magical. Instead of like when you go to sleep, you start to experience dreaming and stuff. Dreams is, instead of like you sensing your physical world around you, you start to sense like the insides of your consciousness and your imagination, and your brain creates this like virtual world, and you start to sense that. It's kind of what happens. Your senses, you start to, instead of like sensing the physical world around you, when you go to sleep, you start to sense like the insides of your imagination and consciousness. It's kind of very weird. When you fall asleep, like your body is like, you're paralyzed, obviously. You're paralyzed, obviously, and then like your eyes shut and you can't move and you're stuck on the ground, and then your brain creates like this virtual world for you, and creates your imagination starts to take over, and you, instead of sensing the physical world around you, you start to sense like the insides of your consciousness and imagination. So bizarre to me. Oh, it's freezing, man. So freezing cold. Nah, I gotta still. Yeah, the cold still hits me. In England, man, making videos here is so difficult, especially outside, because the cold just hits you so hard. But yeah, what was I getting at? Like, dreams. The topic of this video is dreams. Scientists, they can't really even explain to us like the exact mechanism for like why us human beings, like when we go to sleep, we have dreams. Why do we have dreams? It's so weird. There's no proper explanation as to why us human beings and other types of animals, like why we have dreams, why we experience dreams and stuff when we're asleep. So bizarre to me. It's impossible to like understand exactly why us human beings and other animals, like why we go to sleep and then we have dreams. It's so weird. Dreams. What are dreams? Like, again, instead of like sensing the physical world around you, you start to sense like the insides of your consciousness and your imagination, and your brain creates like this virtual world, and then you, instead of like you like moving about in this real world, you start to like experience that virtual world that your brain creates for you, like when you're sleeping. It's so weird. Dreams. What is a dream? Like, how would you define the word dream? It's like when you're the brain, like it creates like, obviously there's, damn, you hear that noise in the atmosphere? Probably a plane. Anyway, your brain creates like a virtual world for you. I don't know, it's very hard to properly define what the word dreams are. Dreams, obviously there's academic definitions, but to put it into my own words, because you know me, I like doing that. I like putting things in my own words. Dreams, it's like when your body is like completely damn, my GoPro Hero 9, the camera got too hot and the turned off. Anyway, dreams, to put it into my own words. Look, pillow, look, got my bed here. Dreams, like basically when you go to sleep, your brain creates like this fantasy world for you, and your brain, you start to get like stuck into that fantasy world when you go to sleep, and that's like what dreams are. Look, I got this bed, like you fall asleep on something like this, and your brain puts on like a fantasy world for you and stuff. The brain puts on like a fantasy world for you and stuff, and you experience this fantasy world while you're sleeping on your bed, hopefully, or on something similar, unless you're like some type of bum and you sleep on the road outside, I don't know. But like you got this mattress and stuff. Dreams, that's what dreams are. Like when you, like to put it into my own words, dreams is like basically when you go to sleep, your brain creates like a virtual world, and instead of like you sensing the physical world around you, you start to sense this virtual world, and you get stuck into that virtual world when you're sleeping, and that's what dreams are. Dreams are so magical, so like magical and stuff. Dreams are so magical, so magical. They're like the fact that us human beings, that we have dreams, we go to sleep and we experience like these amazing dreams. Our brains create this amazing fantasy world for us to enjoy and stuff. All of that is so insane and amazing and beautiful and magical. Dreams, there's no proper explanation. Scientists, they can never give you any type of real proper explanation as to why us human beings, why we have dreams. There's no good, proper, thorough explanation for why we have dreams. What scientists can never explain to you like what is like the exact mechanism for why us human beings, why we have dreams, why we experience dreaming and stuff, and why like when we go to sleep we have like these dreams, and our brains create this fantasy world for us to enjoy and experience. And all of that's kind of like very insane, interesting. Isn't it interesting that most animals go to sleep, they have dreams? Most animals, I don't believe there's only like a couple of animal species. I know some animals, they can like operate, like they don't really require sleep. They can function 24/7, but sometimes their brain, because of the way their brains on their brain, half of their brain like just shuts off and the other half still stays active. I don't know, and they keep switching between these types of different brain schemes and mechanisms. I don't know. But us human beings, most animals fall asleep. A lot of animals collapse to the ground and experience sleeping. It's kind of very interesting to me. And there's no like proper explanation as to why us human beings and a lot of other types of animals, like why we exactly need to sleep and why we experience dreaming when we sleep. Because again, in terms of like the theory of evolution, like an animal species, like if an animal species is completely collapsed to the ground, not moving, it would quickly get picked off by a different type of animal species. It would get picked off by a different type of animal species that doesn't require sleep, like by predators and stuff like that. Dreaming and sleeping is it's like such a big fat paradox. It's so magical that us human beings and most other animals require sleep, and then we have dreams and stuff, and we experience like this physical, like no, not physical, but this imaginary fantasy world, and we go to sleep. Very interesting and insane. Here's my bed. Ooh, here's my bed. Very nice. Hopefully my GoPro Hero 9 doesn't fucking overheat again. Fucking overheating is such a big fat issue with these types of cameras. But anyway, here's my bed. Dreams. Like, it's so bizarre. Like, there's no proper explanation as to why we have to like go to sleep and have dreams. It's so weird to me. I don't understand it. There's no like proper explanation. The scientists haven't given us any type of real proper explanation for why we need to go to sleep. Hopefully you go to sleep on a bed. Unless you're a bum and you need to sleep on the road, I don't know. But hopefully a lot of us, we use our beds to go to sleep, and we have like pillows and all that type of stuff and blankets. Hopefully you're not a bum on the street. That'd be very funny to me, I don't know. Obviously it'll be a little bit tragic and sad for you. I don't know. I'm not gonna be a dickhead though. Sleeping and dreaming, all of that is so magical. There's no like proper explanation for as to why like us human beings and other types of animals, like why we have to like go to sleep and experience dreaming and stuff and all that type of stuff. To me, like, it doesn't make any sense, because like again, the theory of evolution, wouldn't that suggest that like animals that are completely collapsed onto the ground, immobilized, wouldn't they get picked off by predators? Especially if an animal is like immobilized for like 10 hours, for 10 hours or more, wouldn't that type of animal just get picked off and get killed and slaughtered and stuff? It doesn't make any logical sense to me. Dreams are so mesmerizing. They're so magical. The fact that us human beings and most animal species like require sleep, and then we dream and stuff and all that. It's so insane to me. I don't know. And there's no proper explanation for as to why us human beings and other animals, like why we have dreams and all that type of stuff, and why specifically we have dreams, and like why our brains create this fantasy world for us when we're sleeping and stuff, and we enjoy the fantasy world when we're asleep. It's so weird. There's no proper explanation as to why we have dreams and why we need to sleep and all that type of stuff. It's so fucking weird. The scientists, they can only tell you that it's just so the brain stays healthy. That's all they can say. They can just tell you like, oh, your brain you need to go to sleep so your brain repairs itself and whatever, and then that's why you have dreams. You have dreams because your brain's making like it's repairing itself. It's just all about keeping your brain healthy. There's no like proper actual explanation for why us human beings and why most other types of animals, why we require sleep. There's no proper explanation for why us human beings and most other animals require sleep. It's so insane to me and bizarre. And there's no proper explanation. It's so insane to me why us human beings and most other animal species require sleep, and then we have dreams and all this type of stuff. It's so interesting to me. I don't know. The scientists, they can't really tell us why us human beings and other types of animals, like why we sleep and why we go to sleep, and then why we experience dreaming and why we have like dreams and all that type of stuff. They can only tell you that, oh, it's just so the brain stays healthy. I don't know. Dreams. The topic of this video is dreams. Dreams are so like magical. Dreams are it's so amazing, the fact that us human beings, we have like dreams and stuff, and we have dreams, we go to sleep, and then we have dreams, and our brains create like this fantasy world for us, and then we enjoy this fantasy world while we're asleep for 10 hours, and then we wake up and we get to come back into this real world. It's so bizarre. Dreams. Yeah, your brain, like when you go to sleep, your brain creates like a fantasy world for you, and you get to enjoy this fantasy world while you're sleeping, and so your brain creates like a show. It creates a virtual world for you and stuff. It's so interesting and amazing, the fact that us human beings and other types of animals like us, we like go to sleep and we have dreams and stuff. There's no proper explanation though as for us to why like we have dreams and why we need to go to sleep. Theory of evolution again would suggest that like animals that like are completely immobilized, stuck on the ground, not moving for 10 hours a day, they would just get picked off by predators. Wouldn't the theory of evolution suggest that? I don't know. It's so bizarre to me, the fact that we need to like go to bed. Hopefully you actually go onto a bed with a mattress and with pillows and blankets. You're not just a bum on the street, but hopefully whatever. Why we as human beings and other types of animals like us, why we require sleep is so interesting and amazing to me. That us human beings, like we're so like magical. I don't know. It's so interesting, the fact that we go to sleep and then our brains create this fantasy world and then we get to enjoy this fantasy world while we're sleeping. It's so weird to me. And there's no proper explanation as to why our brains have create this type of fantasy world for us and stuff while we're sleeping. It's kind of why we need to sleep, why we have dreams, all of that is so, it's like a big fat mystery. I don't know. Scientists, they'll tell you that it's just so your brain stays healthy. Your brain needs to repair itself. That's why you need to go to sleep. And that's why you have dreams, so your brain stimulates itself while it's repairing itself. I don't know. That like might be a type of scientific explanation, but there's no like legit proper explanation like why we sleep and why we have dreams. Because in terms of like the theory of evolution, wouldn't like an animal that's completely collapsed, immobilized, wouldn't it get picked off by predators? Then wouldn't like in terms of like evolution, wouldn't we not evolve these types of requirements for sleeping and dreaming? It's kind of it's like a big fat mystery to me, like that why like so many animals and us human beings, why we go to sleep and then why we experience dreams and all that type of stuff is so weird. It's so weird to me. I don't know. There's no proper explanation. I don't know. The scientists, they'll tell you that just so that the brain stays healthy and repairs itself. That's why we go to sleep, and that's why we have dreams. So our brain stimulates itself while it's repairing itself. I don't know. It's like a big fat mystery to me. I don't believe there's any type of real proper explanation for why, like us human beings and most other animals, why we go to sleep and why we have dreams. I don't know. It's so bizarre to me. I don't know. I just don't know. Why us human beings and why most other types of animals like us, why we go to sleep and why we have dreams, is so bizarre to me. I don't know. It's very bizarre to me. I don't know. Why we us human beings and most other animals like us, we go to sleep on beds, hopefully with pillows and blankets and stuff, and then our brains create like a fantasy world and we experience that, and then while we're sleeping it's kind of all very magical but still a big mystery to me. Because again, animals that like in terms of evolution, like why would us human beings and most other animals like us like evolve these types of requirements for sleeping and dreaming? Wouldn't the types of animals that require sleep, wouldn't they get picked off by predators? I don't know. It's very interesting to me. I don't know. It's all like a big fat mystery, sleeping and dreaming. Obviously, like us human beings, like we sleep for like, I believe like there's like some type of mathematics behind it. Like a lot of us, we sleep for like half our lives. I don't know, for like a quarter of our lives or something like that. Half our lives, I don't know. Half of the time that we spend being alive is like falling asleep. Like half of the time that like for our lives is like the fact that we're like sleeping and dreaming. That's like half. That makes it like a lot of what we do in our lives and stuff. I don't know. It's very interesting, sleeping and dreaming. There's no proper explanation. The scientists, they'll just tell you this to keep the brain healthy. I don't know. There's no proper explanation, and that's about it. Sleeping and dreaming, that's so like weird to me. It's like a big fat mystery.